My name is Hannah. My parents told me he was a kind man. When he entered the room, I felt my old life slip away. My life before was simple and happy. I lived in a quiet town called Willow Creek. The houses stood close, and everyone knew me. I knew them too. My father was a baker, rising early to knead dough and fill our town with the warm smell of bread. My mother cared for our cozy home. Our house was small, but love filled every corner. I had 2 younger sisters, always giggling and playing. I loved them dearly, even when they were loud. I had a dream, a simple one. I wanted to be a librarian. I loved books. They were my escape, my adventure. They carried me to faraway lands. I wanted to share that magic with others, helping people find stories in our town's little library. My parents supported my dream. "Hannah, you're clever," they said. "You can do anything." They worked hard to send me to the town school, where I soaked up every lesson. I was happy there, dreaming of books and quiet shelves. One evening, my parents called me to the kitchen. Their faces were serious and my stomach tightened. Something was wrong. My father avoided my eyes. My mother took my hand. It was cold. "Hannah," she said softly, "a man wants to marry you." My heart stopped. Marry? I was only 19. I wanted to study more, to work with books. "No," I said, shaking my head. "I don't want to marry." My father looked at me, his eyes heavy with sorrow. "We have no choice," he said. "The bakery struggled this year. We need help. This man is wealthy. He's from a good family and can support us and your sisters." A tear rolled down my cheek. "But I don't know him," I whispered. My mother squeezed my hand. "He's a good man, Hannah. His name is Thomas. He lives in a big city called Riverstone. He'll give you a good life." A good life? To me, a good life was my family, my books, my dreams. But now those dreams felt like they were being traded for money. I was angry, but I saw the pain in my parents' eyes. They weren't doing this to hurt me. They were trying to save our family. I looked around our small, warm home. My sisters' laughter echoed in my mind. Their future mattered so much. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Okay, I'll do it." I had never seen him. All I knew was his name, Thomas. It felt strange to say. My parents said he was 32 and owned a shop in the city. His family had known my grandparents years ago, a faint connection from the past. The wedding day came too quickly. I didn't want it to arrive. My mother sewed me a white dress, soft and lovely, but I didn't feel beautiful. I felt like a puppet, moving without a choice. My friends from Willow Creek came, smiling and wishing me well. They didn't know the storm in my heart. I forced a smile, but it was hollow. In our town's tiny chapel, I stood waiting. Whispers filled the air as the door creaked open. A man walked in, tall, in a neat grey suit, with dark hair and calm, serious eyes. He didn't smile. He stood beside me, looking straight ahead. My heart pounded like a drum, heavy and sad. This was Thomas, the man who would be my husband. The ceremony was quick. I said, "I do," my voice barely a whisper. His voice was clear and steady. He slipped a cold ring onto my finger, and just like that, I was married. I was Mrs. Hannah, but I didn't feel like myself. At the small party afterward, I sat beside him at a long table. We didn't speak. He ate quietly, glancing at the guests but never at me. I felt like a shadow, unseen. My family tried to talk to him. He was polite but said little. Then it was time to leave. Saying goodbye to my family broke my heart. I hugged my mother, her tears wetting my cheek. "Be happy, my dear," she whispered. My father held me tightly. "He'll care for you," he said. My sisters clung to me, confused. I wanted to stay, but I climbed into a sleek black car, unlike anything in Willow Creek. Thomas sat on. My home, my life, faded until it was gone. The silence in the car was heavy, and I was too scared to speak. His face was unreadable, like a closed book. I didn't know where we were going, only that everything was changing. The journey was long, stretching into the night. The world outside darkened, and the silence in the car grew heavier. I wanted to ask, "Where are we going?" but fear kept my lips sealed. Finally, we reached Riverstone. The city was alive with lights, tall buildings, and endless noise, so different from the quiet of Willow Creek. We stopped at a grand house, more like a castle than a home. A tall gate opened slowly, and we drove inside. The house loomed dark and silent. A woman in a grey dress greeted us at the door. "Welcome, Mr. Thomas." "Welcome, Mrs. Hannah," she said, her voice flat. Thomas walked inside without a word, not waiting for me. I followed, feeling small. The house was enormous, with shiny stone floors and a wide staircase. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like a museum, cold and distant. The woman, Clara, led me to my room. "This is yours, madam," she said. "My room, not ours." The room was larger than my entire house in Willow Creek, with a wide bed and crisp white sheets. A huge window showed only dark buildings outside. Clara left, and I was alone. I sat on the bed, its softness offering no comfort. I cried for my family, my home, my lost dreams of being a librarian. A knock startled me. The door opened, and Thomas stood there, his dark eyes unreadable. I froze, my heart racing. Was this my new life beginning? I thought he might be angry to see me crying, but he just stood by the door. "You're tired," he said softly. "Rest, that was all." He didn't come closer or touch me. He looked at me for a moment, then left, closing the door gently. I was confused. I expected something else. Anger, demands, but not this quiet distance. Alone again, I didn't know where he went or. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window. For a moment, I thought I was back in Willow Creek. Then reality hit, and my heart sank. I dressed in simple clothes from my bag and went downstairs. The house was silent, like no one lived there. In the kitchen, Clara, the housekeeper, greeted me. "Good morning, madam," she said, her face blank. "Mr. Thomas left for work at dawn. He returns late. I ate alone at a huge table, the food tasteless without my family's chatter. I missed my mother's bread, our shared meals. This was my new life, alone in a grand empty house. Days passed in a blur, each one the same. I woke alone, ate alone, wandered the silent house alone. Thomas left before I woke and returned after I was in my room. Sometimes I heard his footsteps on the stone floor, but I never saw him. I felt like a bird in a gilded cage, surrounded by beauty but trapped. The house had everything, fine clothes, good food, but no warmth, no joy. I missed Willow Creek's fields, the sun on my face, the chatter of neighbours. Clara was kind but quiet, focused on her tasks. 1 week became 2, and I still hadn't spoken to Thomas. I wondered if he was ashamed of me, a simple girl from a small town, not a polished city woman. Maybe he regretted our marriage. One evening I found a library in the house. It was a warm room, filled with books from floor to ceiling. I ran my fingers over their covers, feeling a spark of joy. Books were my friends, my escape. As I held a novel, the door opened. Thomas stood there, home early. My heart raced. He looked tired, loosening his tie. "Hello," he said, his voice low. "Hello," I replied. barely audible. Silence hung between us, awkward and heavy. He noticed the book in my hand. "Do you like reading?" he asked. I nodded. "Yes, I love it." He pulled a book from a shelf, a collection of short stories. "This is a good one," he said, handing it to me. I thanked him, surprised. He nodded and left. It was a small moment, just a few words, but it felt like a bridge between us. After that, I started small acts of care. I left a lamp on in the hall so he wouldn't come home to darkness. I asked Clara about his favourite foods and cooked them, leaving plates for him. In the morning the plates were empty. He ate what I made, though he never said so. One day I explored the garden. It was beautiful but neglected, with wilting flowers and tangled weeds. In Willow Creek, I'd tended a small garden with my mother. I began working there, pulling weeds, watering plants. It was hard, but it made me feel alive. One evening, as the sun set, Thomas found me in the garden. "It looks better," he said, startling me. I blushed. "Thank you. I love gardening." He paused, looking at the flowers. "My mother loved this garden. She died years ago, and no one cared for it since." His voice was soft, tinged with sadness. For the first time I saw him as a person, not a stranger, a man with his own losses. "I'm sorry," I said. He looked at me. "Don't be. You're bringing it back." We stood there, watching the sunset. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was calm, shared. Life in the grand house began to change. Thomas started coming home earlier. We ate dinner together, at first in silence, still shy, but slowly we talked. I shared stories of Willow Creek, my sister's laughter, the smell of my father's bread. I told him my dream of being a librarian. He listened, his eyes attentive, asking about my life. He opened up too. He ran a furniture shop, a family business he took over after his father's death. It was stressful, leaving little time for friends. I realized he was lonely, just like me. Two strangers in a big house, we were becoming friends. One night a storm shook Riverstone. Thunder roared and lightning flashed. I'd always feared storms, hiding with my mother in Willow Creek. Alone in my room, a loud thunderclap made me scream. I hid under the blankets, trembling. A soft knock came, and Thomas entered, holding a lantern. The power was out. "Are you okay?" he asked, seeing my fear. I nodded, unable to speak. He sat on the bed's edge, keeping his distance. "It's just a storm," he said calmly. "It'll pass." He told me a story of his childhood, how he'd feared storms too. His voice soothed me. He stayed until the storm faded, and I fell asleep, feeling safe. In the morning he was gone, but something had shifted. He wasn't just my husband, he was my protector, my friend. Our bond grew. We laughed together, his smile softening his serious face. I looked forward to our evenings. One day he brought home a box. "For you," he said. Inside were books, stories for children, guides on libraries. "You want to be a librarian," he said. "Study here. You're smart. You can do it." Tears filled my eyes, happy ones. He'd remembered my dream, the one I thought I'd lost. "Thank you, Thomas," I said. It was the greatest gift. I studied daily, the books rekindling my spark. Thomas asked about my progress, proud of me. The house felt like a home. I filled it with garden flowers, cooked meals like my mother's, played soft music. One evening, by the fireplace, we read together. The fire's glow lit his face. My heart warmed with a new feeling, love. I loved this quiet, kind man. I moved closer, resting my head on his shoulder. He looked surprised, then smiled, wrapping his arm around me. "Hannah," he whispered. "Thomas," I said, smiling. "I'm happy." "Me too," he replied, and kissed me softly. It was a kiss of love, not duty. My new life had begun, not with fear, but with hope. That hope grew stronger each day as we built a future together, step by step, in a house that was no longer cold, but filled with the warmth of our shared dreams. My wedding day wasn't the end of my life. It was the start of something new. It began with fear and loneliness, but it grew into something beautiful. I learned that life can surprise you. Love can bloom where you least expect it, like a flower pushing through cracked earth. You just need patience and an open heart. My parents said Thomas was a good man, and they were right. He was more than good. He was my partner, my friend, the man I loved. Sometimes we think our dreams are gone, that our story is over. I felt that way too. Maybe you're listening to this on English Learning Stories and feel lost or scared. That's okay. Fear is part of life. But don't give up. Life has a way of turning dark moments into bright ones. A frightening beginning can lead to a joyful ending. My story is proof. A simple girl from Willow Creek found love and purpose in a strange city. I'm studying to be a librarian, filling our home with warmth and building a life with Thomas. One day I hope to open a library in Riverstone, sharing books with children like me. Your story can be happy too. Keep going, keep dreaming, and trust that good things can come, even when the path is hard. I never thought I'd find joy after that first night, but I did. And you can too. Just take it one step at a time, with a brave heart and a little faith. My life is a happy one now, and I believe yours can be too. Let this be your encouragement. Never stop hoping. As time passed, my life with Thomas became a beautiful adventure. The house in Riverstone, once so cold, now felt warm and full of life. I worked hard on my librarian studies, and Thomas helped me every day. He brought home more books and even made a small space in the library for me to practice. I smiled more, and so did he. One sunny morning, Thomas came to me with exciting news. "Hannah," he said, "I found a little building in the city. We can make it a library for children." My heart jumped with joy. A real library. I hugged him tight. "Thank you, Thomas," I said. We worked together to clean the building. I chose bright colors for the walls, and Thomas built small shelves. My sisters visited from Willow Creek, helping us paint. Their laughter filled the room just like at home. When the library opened, many children came. They loved the books I picked for them. I read stories aloud, and their eyes shone with wonder. Thomas watched, proud and happy. One evening, we sat in our garden, the flowers blooming around us. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink. "Hannah," Thomas said, "you made this happen." I shook my head. "We made it happen," I replied. He took my hand, and we smiled at each other. I thought back to that first night when I felt my life was over. Now, I knew it was just the beginning. My dream came true, and love grew where I least expected it. Maybe you're listening and feeling unsure about your future. That's okay. My story shows that hard times can lead to happy days. Keep trying, keep hoping, and let your dreams guide you. Life can surprise you with kindness and love, just like it did for me. This is my happy ending, and I hope you find yours too. Thank you for listening to my story on English Learning Stories. Keep learning, keep growing, and never give up.